How can we sell it better to men?
Roxanne, do we need to sell it better to men?
No, we don't. Men need to get over themselves and... You know, men don't need to be sold. I mean, why do we have to roll out the red carpet and jump through hoops and do all sorts of cartwheels to get men on board with feminism, which is just the basic idea that men and women deserve to have the same rights and freedoms? It's ridiculous. And time and again, we worry about how do we market feminism to young women? How do we market feminism to men? I don't care. I'm not trying to market feminism to men. I want men to grow up and to learn how to get over themselves. That's really it.
I wouldn't make you the marketing officer. It's a very brutal technique.
But you know, Annabelle, it was interesting this weekend, International Women's Day, and it's fair enough to ask in 2015, do we still need an International Women's Day? And I say absolutely yes. Absolutely. It is necessary and it's relevant. Whilst throughout the world there are still women who are subjected to human trafficking, while women are still subjected to sexual violence in conflict, while women are abused in the most horrific circumstances, while there's a gender pay gap that seems to be widening, while women's health and educational outcomes in our region are disproportionate. It goes on and on. While women can't achieve what they want to because of systemic barriers in the way, of course, an International Women's Day is necessary and relevant. So I think that might be an answer to your question as well. That
Do you have any men around you that have a problem with powerful women?
No, most of...
I don't think you can answer that one.
Julie works with a lot of guys.
I work with a lot of guys, and I am the deputy leader of a party that elected me, a woman, as deputy leader, knowing that if you're the deputy leader, you can choose your portfolio. So it was a very powerful position in the Liberal Party, and my colleagues, male and female, voted me in. So,
but deputy leader is kind of nicer than leader.
well,
right.
I get to choose what I want to do.
In the sense that it's not as threatening, right? And I think...
I can be threatening.
Fair. But in response to the question, like I also work with a lot of blokes, and a lot of them don't like the idea of female... and they may not necessarily say we don't like the idea of female equality, but the moment they earn more than their missus, they're like, yeah, buddy. And it's still an important thing. And I mean, I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, it's when you're the only child and you get to have the cake, and then all of a sudden there's a second child, and the second child's as equal, but somehow you've got to share the cake. And you're like, but I don't want to share the cake. It's like, well, you know, you have to. You've got to share the power. And unfortunately, we live in a society that is patriarchal, and so the power isn't shared equally. And what we're asking for, what we're perhaps demanding, is that the power is shared equally. And people aren't going to like that. And change is never friendly. But, you know, it's the women's movement, if we're going to call it that, has been one of the least... is one associated with the least bloodshed, with the least sort of like if you think about big change in the world, we've done it pretty nicely so far. And